Go.
Cool. So, hey, Lisa.
Hey.
We're here today to talk a little bit about your backstory and how we got started here in this place. But I want to introduce you. So, Lisa is one of my longtime friends for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very long, but to me it is.
Yeah.
Like in this area. It's been the whole time I've been in this area. So.
Well, especially after what we've been through in our country in the past 2.5 years,
Yeah.
everything seems longer.
Yeah. And maybe it's also like our level of connection, but we'll get into that. I'm really, really happy that we've finally done this. So we finally got you here together and that we're, talking about your vision and how you got started here. Lisa is the owner of Natural Living Food Co-op and Cafe in League City, Texas.
Yep.
And today I just wanted to hear a little bit about her story, kind of hear where you came from. And so if you could just tell us, what got you started in the area of health, nutrition, and maybe we can start actually at where you're from. So, are you from this area?
Where I'm from. My favorite answer, honestly, when people ask me where I'm from, I say Earth. And I'm not trying to be weird. I just legitimately feel like I don't specifically belong to one only place. But I was born in Dallas, and I pretty much grew up in Oklahoma, of all the weird places, I know. But Oklahoma...
I would not guess that.
Exactly.
I just would not see that.
Exactly. And then made my way back here 3 decades ago, because back then, my life and a job brought my family here. And I actually liked it. So... I'm from a small town in Oklahoma, like Weatherford, Oklahoma, teeny tiny, nothing, little bitty town. And small town, I'm really glad I had the upbringing of, small town, what it brings to you value-wise. But loved the city because I have such a great appreciation for more of the melting pot. I love that. I love variety. I love different cultures. That really sets well with me. And so I felt a little more at home here, oddly, as a small town girl.
Yeah. I kind of understand that. Also, like, access to things that you and I are more interested in is more difficult if you're kind of in a small town or
it's
in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. And like my small town was, you drive a good hour and a half to get to the city to do anything. Well, okay, great. Here, it's just maybe 20 minutes this way, 30 minutes that way, access to everything, so.
Yeah, so did you grow up with your family having a garden or anything like that? Like, where did you find your love for, like, growing plants and, and herbs?
Yeah. I have to attribute that to my mom. She gave me a great sense of appreciation for plants, gardening, flowers, healthy eating, all of that. It was her version of it. Of course, I grew up with, you are always working out in the yard. We're always planting, and for her it was flowers and cute little plants that smelled good and looked pretty, and I loved it. And just knew it as a way of living, right? We always had 10,000 plants inside the house. That's how you live, right? That's how it's supposed to be, apparently. So I have to say I really had a great appreciation for that from her. I was also, maybe there's something just innate in me that is just so very connected to the earth and plants and herbs and everything. Because I was the little, 6, 7, 8-year-old at playground at recess time. Everybody's off playing dodgeball. And I was in the grass picking the clovers, making chain crowns and going, hey, friends, look.
Yeah.
That was me, from a small age. I preferred that. So there's something
awesome
about that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that, actually, about you.
Yeah, I would be the one. And of course, at that age, I'm like, let me teach you how to do Age 7, right? I'm still teaching.
That's definitely part of your character, like part of your personality and what you were made to do on this earth is be a teacher. And I know you put that into everything you do here at the co-op. We'll get into that in a little bit. But so you've been here 30 years in League City area. What made you choose this area besides just wanting to be in more of a melting pot, more of a city? Was there a specific reason that you chose this area?
When I moved down to the Houston area, I was in the Clear Lake area and I liked it. I had gotten to know it well enough to go, ooh, I really like League City. Back then it was more up and coming, but it felt like a good mix of small town home, big city conveniences, and I appreciated that. And I really like that about League City in particular, because I really can feel like, because that's one thing my mom also taught me, is we got really into the city and getting involved in the Chamber of Commerce and making sure you know all the other small businesses. And so I felt like here I could do that. I think just subconsciously it felt like, yeah, that feels right to me, home.
Yeah. I would say out of all the cities in this area, you're right. League City has like one of the best communities of small businesses.
Yeah.
And especially here in the historic district. Like,
yeah,
I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah, and I think that's why, even when I chose to, like, where am I moving and living close to this, I have lived within several miles of historic districts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that idea of being able to walk where you want to go, and everything is cutesy, old, fashiony, but upkept, modern mix.
And you're in the perfect spot here, right next to like the railroad track park, and it just has that old feeling to it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about how you got started with, with actually doing raw food, baking, cooking, things like that. I know that a lot of people don't know you're actually a raw food chef.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What made you want to get that certification? What led you down that path, and kind of how did you get started with what you're doing here at the co-op?
Right. So, I really, again, I'm going to go back to attributing my mom for just laying a base foundation of appreciation for healthy foods. I have to say, God bless her. Her idea of healthy eating was low-fat cottage cheese and, skim milk.
Well, she was from that time frame, though, right? She was from the fat-free everything era.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fat-free. That's really good for you.
Yeah.
God bless her. So at least what was put in front of me were vegetables and, you know what I mean, fruits. And so I had that appreciation. Just like everybody else, I had my own health journey that we all go through. I found after getting pregnant, and I just had so many health issues, and I wasn't sure what was going on, especially after having babies. So I went looking for answers, right? Tried the conventional route. Okay, sure, let's go to doctors after doctors after doctor, and nothing, just nothing. We can't find anything. I ended up diagnosing myself with celiac disease in 2007. I went to a doctor and said, I need you to run these blood tests. And he was like, those are very obscure. Why? How do you even know about those? And I'm like, but I'm paying you. So please just do this and we'll talk. I want to rule out some things. I didn't even tell him what. I just was like, I already know. And so he fought me a little. He did. It came back and went, wow. Yeah, you have celiac disease and it's really bad and every single one of these were off. How did you even know to ask? And I'm like, that's when I went, okay, I am grateful for modern medicine when we need it. It's there. Also, there's something to be said about what we feel within ourselves. Something's off. We know in our bodies something's not right. Yeah. And our bodies will tell us and signal us. And everyone around us, what's their favorite thing to do? It's in your head. Hypochondria,
Ignore it.
Right. And you're like, no, my body's saying it's something. No, So I was going through, maybe it's something that I'm eating. Maybe it's food allergies. I don't know. Went through food allergy testing and they literally tested me and went, you're allergic to everything and we can't help you. And I went, that's not an answer. I'll figure it out,
Yeah.
So I set out to figure it out myself. Okay, I can't eat that, but I can eat this. Let's focus on my yes foods.
Yeah.
And so that's the route I went. And I realized through this process how much food impacts how I feel. And not just me, my family.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, food's important. So then I went to take myself off sugar. And I was struggling because we all struggle with sugar. It's addictive.
In everything.
It's in everything, and it's addictive. It's an addictive substance, right? So the easiest way to do that was with raw food desserts. Because automatically, I could have all the things I want, the cookies, the cakes, the pies. They just look a little different,
What do you sweeten raw food desserts with?
So you're using fruits and dates and nature, right? Bananas and apples and fruit. So I went, yeah, that feels right to me. So I went down the rabbit hole of studying and loved it. Realized when I ate that way, oh my God, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
What is that? Probably part of it was just instinctively with raw food eating. I was also taking myself off of grains. I was taking myself off of a lot of other processed foods and cooked foods. And I had living enzymes, living food, right? And I felt that and went, whoa, now I've got kids, and I would teach them, sure, we're going to make cookies, and this is what cookies look like.
And they were totally different. Kids today would be like, I don't want to eat that.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So that's really where I started going, oh, here we go. Pandora's box is opened, and I'm going down the rabbit hole, and I love it. It was great.
So that was more the food side of things and like all of your raw food journey, which I know now you and I have talked about this, but we call it the intuitive diet.
Yeah.
So just having intuition in your own body and listening to it. And when people ask us, because you and I are both predominantly vegan currently, but we actually always tell people like, I eat intuitively for how my body needs me to eat, and sometimes that will change with the season, which I think is a whole nother podcast in and of itself.
Right, for sure,
it is. We definitely need to hit that, talk about that sometime with your mold journey.
Yeah, that intuitive diet is really, it was my own journey of discovery, because then I went to study in depth all the different diets. Okay, what's macrobiotic? What's microbiotic? What's keto? What's paleo? What's raw? I looked at South Beach diet, Atkins. I looked at everything. And I tried them out, and I went, wow, okay, I understand. First of all, it's whole food eating. That pretty much is the basis. And that's when I went, okay, after all the years of working with people, nutritional consults, seeing different bodies in different stages of healing, in different stages of diseases, I realized it can change what you need and what your body needs at different times in your life, and depending on what you've done to your body and what you need to rebalance or fix, it can change. And so that's why I really like to teach people, get rid of the labels. They don't help. I eat paleo. That's great. Now you're going to feel horribly guilty if you eat 1 grain of rice, or a legume or something, And so maybe it's I eat vegan, right? And then something happens and your body's like, I really need this XYZ, and you have some cheese or something. And what happens when we do that? We feel guilt. We feel like this heaviness. It's a burden.
That's a cultural thing, for sure.
It is. And then we feel like, oh my gosh. And there should be no taboos with food.
Yeah.
That's huge. And what do we do with food? Oh, we put every taboo in the world. I'm eating this way. I can't have that. I can't do this. I can't eat that. And we put all these guilt, heavy, shame taboos on it.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the thing that fuels our body now? Oh, we're hung up on it. It feels scary. Right. Food should not feel scary. Food is fun, Food is so much more obviously than our fuel. It's our socialization. It's our culture. It's our how we grew up, our background. It's childhood memories. It's so much more. And when we add taboos and guilt with it, now you're mixing these beautiful messages with murkiness.
Right.
So that's why I really like to teach, okay, sit down to eat whole foods, and that just means foods closest to how nature makes them, without a box or a jar or process, but the closest we can from nature. Plants, same way for medicine. And then when you've done that for 30 days, your body can start directing you what it needs.
Yeah. And
you can listen to it intuitively. All of a sudden, you start going, oh my God, I'm eating all these oranges and strawberries and spinach. Why am I can't get enough. And then the next day you come down with a cold. Well, your body was telling you to load vitamin C, right? So that
is 30 days about like the time frame that it takes for you to reset your body and get a new habit started with food specifically, as far as like your palate goes?
Yeah.
Or how many days does it usually take people to get used to the changes?
It depends on the person's body and how sick they are and how out of whack they are.
Yeah.
An adult body, average adult body, it's usually 30 days. If they have something's off in the body, but it's not super over the top extreme. For people who grew up eating nothing but junk food, fast food, from a box, from a can, from a jar, that was home cooked meals, was Hamburger Helper,
Yeah.
Then they literally usually take twice as long to go from that to, oh my God, and they struggle with it the first couple weeks. They usually have an actual herxing reaction where their body's detoxifying and they're going, oh my God, I feel horrible. And they feel like they have the flu, but it's literally their body getting rid of those toxins and clearing it out. Now, as far as the adult palate, that can go way faster if you juice, way faster. That is the fastest way to clean the palate.
I think I knew that.
Usually that's 6 days, 7 days, right in there, it starts to change your taste buds. And when I say juicing, I am not talking about mondo amounts of fruit. It should be more than 75% vegetables and then less than 25% fruit. And the fruit should not be super sugary. Yeah. I'm not big on juicing tons and tons of oranges and pineapples and watermelon. I am much bigger on here's your Granny Smith apple and some lemons and limes and ginger. And but if you do that for like day 6 or 7, changes your taste buds, because as soon as you go back to try and do something sweet, you go, whoa, that doesn't taste right. Yeah.
And that's something that you actually do here at the co-op, right?
Yeah.
You offer a juicing program. Tell us a little bit about the shares and how you have the co-op set up to function and to run, as far as, the share program. What is a cooperative even? I feel like a lot of people are probably wondering. We're saying co-op, you know, all the time, and we haven't even talked about what a cooperative is as far as the structure that you have it set up as. I know it's something unique here in this area. Yeah. We really don't have anything like it for, all the way to Austin. So tell us a little bit of why you have it structured this way and what that looks like.
Yeah, so what is a cooperative is probably the good place to start, like you said, because there's so many different types. In general, a cooperative is a group of people who come together who want to work together to bring in certain foods they may not have access to, certain foods they want, types of foods they want. It's usually working with their local farmers. It is generally people driven, right? It's from the people, of the people, for the people. So that can look different ways. You can have a full CSA, and that is a community supported agriculture, where it is, I have this one farm, maybe it's 2 farms, but it's usually one farm. This is what we're spitting out for 6 weeks. Come get your box every week. And that's your cooperative. You're getting your CSA share pickup. Yeah,
that's more what I was used to before I moved here. In Colorado, that's what most of them looked like.
Right. Then you can have a cooperative, which can be a building like what we have here, where we have an actual store, like grocery store set up, along with shares, produce things that we have. Most places I have found that are cooperative grocery stores, generally speaking, are more like, they don't necessarily have the produce share, pick up your share and go home. It's just grocery store shopping. And it's more of a, I get to dictate what goes on the shelves. I get to have say in policy and procedures. I'm a part of this. I may get a kickback, a % back at the end of the year. If the cooperative all did really well, hey, we all made 2% this year. Last quarter it did horrible and we didn't get anything back. That's another cooperative style. Okay. In the state of Texas, in order to be an actual legal cooperative, you have to be board director member voted. And so what that looks like is you have a board of directors, and the members of the cooperative vote the board members, and then they make all the policies and procedures for everyone, so the board is speaking for all the people. That's the idea. We technically, the way we are set up, technically by the state of Texas, we are not a cooperative because we do not have the member voted board. What we do instead is we say the board is all of the people who work here, all the volunteers, all the people, the vendors, I mean, everyone who's a part of this. We literally have meetings, as you know, once a month, where it's staff meetings and everyone comes, and it's a time to bring what are our customers saying, what do they want to see more of, what do they want less of, what, they don't want to see this, people are asking for this on our shelf, let's put it on the shelf. That's what it's for, and so that's the way we run. We choose to have different levels of membership, and so you can have investor memberships that for those who want to invest a little bit more in the co-op up front, get 1% back at the end of the year. So that looks like level 1 membership. You get all your discounts, access to the produce shares. You can pre-order things that go really fast, like the local eggs and all of those, baked goods and things. And then you literally earn 1% back at the end of the year of everything that you've purchased that year. And almost always, if you come with any regularity, it just pays for itself the next year. So we have countless of members who've been with us over a decade, and they've only paid for a membership one time. Because literally the next year just pays for itself, and the next year that pays for itself, and it's great. So they're a part of something, supporting local agriculture, supporting local goods, and it's paying for itself.
And that seems kind of like a no-brainer. What are the main things that people are looking for when they come to the co-op? Because I know that you're a little bit different too, in that everything is as much as possible organic, and also non-GMO, which I think is pretty unique. I don't know anywhere else that has all organic and or wild harvested herbs. I mean, that's got to be really hard to find. So what made you go that route?
So I am very dedicated to non-GMO and organic. It's the more you learn, you can't unlearn certain things. The more you know, you can't unknow them. And the more I educated myself about pesticides, herbicides, the chemicals, the preservatives, the food dyes, the GMOs, and what they literally do physically to our bodies, I went, oh my God, why? Why is anybody eating that way? Oh my God, what have we done to our food system? It's horrifying. And I have spent countless hours educating people on, well, let me just tell you the difference between organic and conventional. It's not really that much of a difference. Holy cow. Do you know the biggest problem we have right now? I see people day in and day out, detox pathways are completely blocked. It's all the chemicals we are exposed to. Some of them we cannot help. I mean, look where we live, in industry and pollution, air pollution. Some of that we cannot help. We can do some things to mitigate it, air purifiers and whatnot, but we can't help it. We can help what we're doing to the food. Why would you pour poison on your food and think you can consume that safely? GMOs are literally altering the DNA of that food substance. It's now not a food substance, and our bodies do not read it as food. Our bodies know how to read. Food is food. I know what to do with that. Let me process it. That's fuel. As soon as you put a GMO in your body, the body does not recognize it as food, and it goes and fights it as something to attack. Oh, there's a foreign substance in the body, I got to attack it. It must be just like a virus, bacterial infection, something fungal. Oh, we got to go fight. Therefore, it turns on autoimmune diseases, which is the body fighting itself. Once that's turned on, there go the dominoes.
Those are at an all-time high, too.
Huge.
And speaking for myself, and I know you as well, we both
Absolutely.
are in that in that category.
Exactly.
Which I think led us towards our our health journeys even more.
Exactly. Yeah, and so that is why I have the entire co-op certified non-GMO, which means everything in here has to be non-GMO, and that is not an easy task.
Yeah.
Not an easy task at all.
I bet a lot of people don't realize that.
Oh no. Manufacturers change what they do all the time. Yeah. We're about 95% organic. There are a handful of like gluten-free things that we have yet to find certified organic, but it is non-GMO. Because I have to have that paper trail. So even our local people that bring in things that they're, making, doing, whatever, I have to ask about every little ingredient in there.
Yeah.
Okay, is it non-GMO? Yeah.
And you even go to some of the local farms. I know we went one time together and harvest some of the things that you offer here at the weekend markets. So do you do a market every weekend?
We do it. We call it a micro mini farmers market set up on the back porch. So we have all of our produce here that we offer for shares, and we buy excess for the open markets, all organic produce. And then we put it out to all of our local farmers, backyard gardeners. Hey, bring your things, drop them off, we'll sell them for you. Because there are so many farmers markets out there. Our farmers honestly don't have time to go to 10,000 different markets and sell it. Right. So we sell it for them. And we set that up every week, every Friday, 3 to 7, Saturday 9 to 2, rain or shine. We have that set up on the back porch for the public to shop from. You don't have to be a member to shop any of that. And it is all organic. If it's local, it doesn't mean it's certified organic, but it does mean I've asked my bazillion million questions and it is grown organically.
Yeah, I've heard you ask those questions before, specifically with the eggs. I feel like
I have to know, like, what are you doing for fertilizer on your land? What are you doing for, pests and I need to know everything. And it kind of, it aggravates a lot of our farmers sometimes, but it's a good opportunity then for education. For me to go, hey, instead of using BT natural, fertilizer, that has some problems. Have you thought about, fish oil? Or have you thought about and then I can start the process of try this instead. If you do that, we can purchase your things,
Yeah, awesome. And we have other vendors too that are part of the co-op. What type of other vendors, what type of other products do you sell that are from other local people?
So we sell, non-food products. So we've got a potter who does all sorts of pottery and ceramics. We have jewelry makers. We've got somebody who does amazing crystals. Her husband, polishes them up, and they're amazing. We have artists, full art, like different styles of art on the wall, all sorts of things that we will have. We have people who even do like macrame art. We have people who do crochet art. We have, I'm thinking, we have somebody who does something called Zen Tangle, and she puts together little pieces to teach people how to do mosaic artwork and that type of thing. And so
that's cool.
We have quite a few other things. We're always looking for other vendors who are making things the way we like it. So, for example, this stuff that's right here.
Oh, yeah.
We have Bath and Body products that are made all organic without, fragrances. It's more essential oils, candles that are made all pure and no junk. This is, clean wicks, that type of thing. Deodorant that's all made naturally, locally. Soaps naturally, locally, without weird colorings, food dyes, weird synthetic perfumey smells.
Right.
So we have a lot of vendors like that. And what we like to do here at the co-op is really let people know, educate them what they're supporting. So we put green stickers on everything that's local so that they know, look for the green stickers. This is locally made, locally grown, something local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. You come a long way from starting this in your garage. I mean, I know there are some people who come to pick up their shares and they tell me every time, They're like, I started this way back when Lisa was in her garage. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's just so impressive that, you know, you were even organizing it back then and getting everyone together to get produce at a discount and from local people. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it really has changed from about 15 years ago when it legitimately was, okay, myself and a couple other families, we want access to this. The vision's this, way out here. But start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had to establish first, it sounds really weird, we had to establish working with our bulk dry goods supplier to do something after so many months of showing that we're regularly buying and meeting their minimums before we could add produce. And I had to add produce from a supplier because locally, especially back 15 years ago, it was hard to find anything organic. We found things locally growing conventionally, just not organic. So I really had to look at that. And that gave me the opportunity then to educate more of those people. Hey, have you thought about changing to organic?
Yeah.
But I had to supplement it. So then once I had that going, then we added the local people and started it started in my living room at my house a few blocks away. Mm-hmm. And then we moved very quickly to our detached garage, which we made out, Jeff and I, he helped me okay, we need walls and AC and, make it all nice. Yeah. And that was 1 day a week. And then, we went to 2 days a week and we added some volunteers to help. And then we added a carport and then we had to add more into the garage and to the driveway. And we went, I think it's time for an actual building.
Yeah.
So actually one of our co-op members had approached me at that time saying, I want to open a juice bar and I really want to ask you something. And I'm like, oh, you must be the person we're looking for, that we're going to go together and find a space and share it. And she was like, I would love to do that. Yeah. And that's how we ended up with this space about 8.5 years ago.
Okay.
And
so the cafe was originally like a juice bar.
Yeah.
And did you and her collaborate on, recipes?
So she actually did her own recipes, her own thing for the cafe and juice bar. And then I had the co-op and the shares and the co-op garden. And we just worked together, so we had the same mindset and mission, so that everything's organic. We agreed on, a judgment-free space, so that people felt welcome when they walked in the door. We agreed on those things.
Yeah.
And that went great for like 1.5 years. It was good. She had young kids, and then it just, as things do, she went her own way.
Yeah.
And then we bought it out, and I literally spent time going, I can revamp this. So I bought out her recipes and I tried them and I went, this is okay, but it's not exactly, nothing's flowing right. And I realized it's because they're not my recipes. Yeah. I'm a chef. I do know how to do this.
Yeah. Your brain was like, I'm fighting these because I want to be in charge of these. I want to be the mastermind.
Yeah. Well, and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because the things she had in her, this sounds trivial, but in her smoothies she had yogurt. It's all organic yogurt from a container, and she had boxed almond milk and boxed coconut milk, and I'm like, let's just literally do this without any of that. Let's do instead of almond milk from a box with all the ingredients you can't pronounce, even though it's organic. Let's do almonds and water. Look at that. We made our own milk. Hemp seed and water. Hey, hemp milk, coconut.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics that felt better. I took out the honey and the sweeteners, all of it, and I just went, let's do dates. Let's do bananas. Let's use nature. Yeah. And changed it and did it where it felt better. So what I know best is raw food. I've done lots of things. I've taught cooking classes for decades, but of all different types of cooking. But what I know best and felt best to me to bring to other people that's super healthy was raw food. So when we first took it over, I changed it all to raw. It was 100% raw. Wow. And then I realized over time people love it, but it's a little too extreme for them. Yeah. And I had to add some cooked foods and soups and things like that. And so I did, but I kept it all gluten-free. And I went, let's focus on the niche of allergen friendly because so many people need that.
Yeah.
And there's no place to go to get that.
I can't imagine there would be a lot of places for that in this area.
Not
just
at
because
all.
it's outside of the city just far enough.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really hard to find a place if you are not just celiac, but you know how many people benefit from eating gluten-free because it's such an inflammatory food, or dairy-free. Maybe they're not vegan, but they need dairy-free, you know?
Right.
They benefit from eating without those things, corn. So that's why I just went, okay, what if I take that out completely? There's no gluten, there's no dairy, there's no corn, there's no soy, there's no cane sugar. You know, we just remove that all together. Now, what's left is the menu. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, I know that's why I found this place originally, was so that, because I was looking for those exact things. So I am a believer in that. Like, people are looking for that, and they definitely need it. So it's cool that you offer that here in this area for them. I wanted to ask kind of one last follow-up question just about your, top tips that you might have for people who maybe aren't ready to fully dive into a healthy lifestyle or living. Like, they're not ready to go in all the way, like maybe we were forced to. But they do want some tips or tricks. So what do you recommend are kind of your biggest things, maybe for, holidays, or just tips that you have for people in general?
Yeah, so I like to teach people to approach it that they're transitioning to something more supportive, healthier, feels better. And when you look at it that way, it's not black and white. It feels more doable for most people. There's a handful of people that black and white works for them, and that's the way they got to go. That's awesome. Most people will find they do that for a while. They can only sustain it for about a week, 2 weeks, a month, and then they give up. And they go, that's too hard. I'm not doing it.
Well, that's how dieting is set up in our culture.
Exactly. And then they give up, and then what happens? Everything comes back. It just doesn't stay. Yeah. So that's why I like to teach people, okay, frame it in your mind. I'm transitioning to something healthier, something more supportive to my body. And as you transition, it looks like making new habits along the way. So I teach people, take your favorite recipes, whatever it is. You like tacos, you like spaghetti, you like mac and cheese. I don't care what pizza, whatever it is. Then find healthier versions of your favorite foods, one at a time. Spaghetti. How can I upgrade that, if you will? How can I upgrade my spaghetti? Okay, well, I can do gluten-free noodles. Here's these brown rice noodles. Okay, I can do organic sauce from a glass jar instead of some, can. Okay, we're getting there, and then maybe it's, let's upgrade even more. How do I do spaghetti without any grains at all? Let's start playing with zoodles, which is zucchini noodles. Let's start experimenting with spaghetti squash and using that. Let's try to see what happens when you make your own sauce from scratch and then you just freeze the rest so you have it in other batches. Let's attempt some of these. Once you have it down, always have those ingredients in the house. Boom, done. That one's on autopilot. Next, pizza. Okay, as soon as I sit down and I do a consult with people and they're like, okay, you just told me to get off of, dairy and gluten and corn and cheese and, I love pizza, what do I do? And I'm like, I can tell you 20 ways you can have pizza without all those things. They're like, what, 20 ways? I'm like, yeah.
That's about the reaction that anyone would get when they hear that you don't eat all of those things. It's like, wait, isn't that in everything?
Yeah, and they're like, wait, no, try it. You can do raw pizza. Oh, yeah, I have several different recipes for raw pizza. You can do pizza with, like we make sliders here. We have these gluten-free buns that we just do open face, and we make them with our own cashew-based pizza cheese. And, there's all these different versions, right? So what I tell people is experiment with what you and your family will do. You like this. Okay. Boom, that's another one. You got that one. Now you've upgraded it. Go to the next. You just make sure you have those staples. It changes. The staples on hand change. You make sure you have those ingredients all the time, and when you're tired, it's there. Also, I teach people to bulk cook. Bulk cooking makes it much easier because, cooking from scratch takes more time and effort. And when you're not feeling well already, and you're tired and you're working a lot of hours, you feel like it's impossible. But when you do have the energy, so let's say you are making whatever your pasta sauce, triple that batch. Triple. One for right now, one for a couple days from now, and one in the freezer.
People still make their pasta sauce from scratch at home?
Yes.
My mom always did that. But I actually don't know almost anyone else who does it besides you and I. So
Yeah, it's worth it, though, to do that. That's why I'm saying, and then do it in small batches, and you learn how to stock your freezer just so. And then rotate, eat out of the freezer. When you're tired, instead of going out to eat, man, you have a home-cooked meal literally waiting for you at home.
That's good.
And it's easier. So this is what I usually teach people. But yeah, when you get into the holidays, it can feel daunting because like we said earlier, food is not just fuel. It's also our socialization. Right? So you don't want to feel like the odd man out that everyone's staring at going, what are you eating? Oh my God. I don't know how to feed you when we're all gathering together for whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever parties, holidays, whatever it is. And you want to feel like you fit in, but also it's a good time to educate people and be like, this is how I feel best when I eat this, so I'm eating this. What are you eating?
Right.
You know?
That kind of comes along with the intuitive eating, right? Like knowing that, hey, if I'm going to eat a lot of these, I might not feel the best. So I'm going to choose for me, no matter what anybody else says or does, that I'm going to eat this way because I know it's better for my body. I feel better when I do it.
Yeah, so here's the way I like to teach people to kind of frame that in their mind and then verbalize it. Because this is very common. This is what we do. It's so common.
I feel like I am about to hear something I hear all the time from my family.
So this is what we do with ourselves first and then with others.
Yeah.
We go, okay, Lisa just said eat gluten-free, dairy-free for a while so we can get rid of inflammation in the body. So we go to the holidays and there's pie. Okay, I should not eat this pie. I can't eat this pie. I'm not eating this. I'm going to eat this pie. Oh my God, I should not be eating this. Oh, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to feel this later. So you just programmed your body to feel horrible, feel it later, be awful, right? So instead, frame it this way. You have two options. One, when you speak to people who offer it to you, you can go, oh, thanks, no. I'm actually going to choose something else right now while I'm clearing some things out of my body. I'm going to have this fruit. Thank you for offering that. And you just simply say no. And you go for the fruit. And they're like, you're clearing something from your body. You said no. That's a thing you can do? What? You can do that? Now you've piqued their interest, even though they're going to give you some shit for it. It's going to happen. They're going to be like, what are you eating? Oh my God, you're just having fruit. Inside they're going, wish I could do that. Right. I don't have the willpower for that. That's really what's happening. The second option is you're going to indulge in it. And it can look like this. Okay. I'm going to sit down and it is a special treat. It's a holiday. And I'm going to eat the pie. I'm going to sit down and with every bite, you're going to be like, I'm going to enjoy every moment of this pie. I am going to sit with it in my mouth and go, oh my God, look at this flavor. I miss this. This is amazing. I am so happy. I am having this. I guarantee you're going to enjoy that pie better than anybody else in that room. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And then, after I'm done eating it, I'm going to thank my body for reminding me if it doesn't sit with me. And maybe later, the next day, you're all like, oh, my joints hurt, my stomach hurts. Thank you, body. Thank you so much for communicating with me.
Right.
That is my reminder to keep me back on track for why I'm going to avoid the pie next time. Oh my God, thank you. And legitimately say it because you know what? Yeah. There are people's bodies, they eat cruddy, yucky food all the time, and they just feel awful all the time, and they don't know how bad they feel. And they're just like, I'm fine when I eat pie. That's because you feel tired and yucky all the time.
Right.
So their body's not communicating with them because their detox pathways are pretty blocked. Legitimately, if you're making changes and then you eat the pie and you don't feel so great the next day, thank you, body, for telling me that is not for me and reminding me why I'm doing this.
Yeah. So changing our mindset is number one.
Yeah, we really have to watch what we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? And then your body literally will have less of a reaction because you're training it to appreciate the moment. You'll probably eat less of it. It's mindfulness, right? And you're just going to be like, man, I'm satisfied with that little bit. It was great. And then thank you, body, for reminding me not to do it. And we won't overindulge.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good tip, especially, for when you gather with family and everything like that. That's really important. Do you have people in your family that eat like you at the holidays like that?
I do somewhat. My kids.
Yeah.
They somewhat do. They're adults now, and they eat. One is celiac as well, clearing celiac disease like I am. Eating gluten-free. Was eating dairy-free. Now decided to pop dairy back in there. Paying for it. Going, all right, well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I do have other family who eat very conventional. And it used to be, here's what I noticed. When I was younger and on fire, I'd be like, everybody in the world needs to eat the way I eat. They all have to learn. You got to eat organic. What is wrong with you? You're wrong, not me. Right? Then they'd see me at the holidays and be like, oh, God, it's her. What is she going to say? We don't even want to hear it. And then I stopped doing that altogether. And I basically just was like, I'm just going to sit here with the silver platter quietly. And I'm just going to enjoy what I'm doing for me and stay quiet. And anytime you need help with that, you let me know. And I would just put it out there. My aunt would be over there going, oh, my joints, oh, my stomach. And I'm like, ma'am, just let me know if I can help you with that ever. I just walk off. Plant a seed, plant a seed, plant a seed.
The curiosity got
and
to
then,
some of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I see all of them calling me up, texting me, hey, yeah, so we're going to go out to eat. Can we eat your way? Because I'm not feeling well. Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, sure. Oh, you're having problems with XYZ? I can help you with that. Let's look at some things. You ready to look for that? Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at it.
Isn't it interesting how I think we all know this, but like vegans in general, when I became vegan, they get a bad rap for doing exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Kind of being too much for people and telling them how they should be eating.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that our bodies and our minds are actually programmed to receive it better if it's placed before us and we don't push it on people.
Right, exactly. And again, going back to the intuitive diet, I mean, I can go on quite a tangent here with that, but legitimately, when you really, authentically listen to your body,
right.
and just a little bit about healthy eating, like, okay, if I'm, eating tons of salt and sugar, it's probably not good. The basics. No, preservatives aren't good for you. Food dye, that's not from nature. Just the basics.
Right.
You're eating basic whole foods, right? Your body will guide you in ways if you just listen. So I will give you an example. So I don't even know how long, honestly, well over a decade and a half, I didn't even think about it. My body intuitively was like, I'm eating plant-based. This is where my body hums the best. And okay, again, getting rid of labels because I don't believe them. Here's the best example. Your body will tell you what's going on. For example, if you start craving, the vitamin C and, oh, look, you're sick, you know what you're doing. Right. Your body can tell you, I'm craving sugar, that must mean I need it. No, it means something's wrong. Do you have parasites, candida? Your body is communicating something's up.
Right.
That's not right? So we know how to do that. I, 3 years ago, bought a house, as you know my story, that unbeknownst to us was full of black toxic mold, had no idea. We're there for months, and all of a sudden my body started signaling me to eat meat, but not just any meat. It was like, oh, you need salmon, like the fatty, fish and tuna, and I was like, okay, so I usually ask into my body, oh, you want me to eat salmon? Do I need omega-3s? Ooh, can I get that from, hemp seed and walnuts and flaxseed? I would try it and go, no, that did not satiate it. My body's still telling me to eat that. Okay, so I did. And I went, wow, I feel slightly better, and I don't really understand that. And then my body was telling me more and more, and it was bizarre things like wild elk and venison, and I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Right.
But I did it because I knew, listen to your body.
Right.
Everyone and their dog is having a fit going, oh my God, you're a vegan. What are you doing? I'm like, who told you I was vegan? My body told me I need to eat this right now. So I listened. As soon as we found the mold in the house, which, by the way, I found out from one of my kiddos who had horrible brain inflammation and ended up with seizures. It was bad. This was not a little bit of mold. You can find my story later. That's another day. But as soon as I found that, I went, oh, my God. Animal fat is the only thing that will dilute mycotoxin poisoning from mold, the symptoms from that poisoning, until you can go in and get it out of your body. Now, I didn't even know it was in my body, and it was so bad. We were all really sick. And again, that's another story. Really sick.
Yeah.
But it was the only thing that was literally diluting the symptoms so that I could semi-quasi-function. When I say semi-quasi-function, only after being in the house about 5 months, 6 months, I literally couldn't tell you my phone number. I couldn't remember like what I was doing. I would start a sentence and forget it midway through. What was I talking about? I was in so much pain I couldn't get up and walk across the room. We're talking intense stuff. And this helped me to function enough to help my kids who were even more sick.
Right.
Like very serious sick. My animals died. I mean, it was really bad. So I listened to my body that told me, go eat this to dilute that poison.
And it kept some of those symptoms lessened for you so that you could at least function.
Yeah, until I could go in and clean it up, and wow, it was amazing. That is why I teach intuitive eating, and had for decades before that ever happened to me. Again, staying away from labels. For that reason. Because what happens if I say I eat vegan and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm eating fish. Oh my God. And you feel horrible. Your body goes, oh my God. And then it doesn't take the food right.
Right.
It won't process it right.
Yeah. And then mentally you have a block to it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I met you during that time, you were just coming out of the really, really bad part of that mold toxicity and that mold poisoning, but I will say, like, you then and you now, night and day difference of energy and same amazing spirit, but like what you've come through is pretty amazing, and you know, still keeping this place up and running even through that,
which was,
I know you have a really big heart for the community, so I know that was on your heart a lot when I first started here. You were that was like you weren't able to be here as much, and I know that weighed on you, so I'm really happy you've come so far, and you know, this place is thriving, and I'm glad we're getting the word out there a little bit more about it. So it's kind of our plan, our vision, and
and I appreciate that, because I really like being able to share this with other people and help them know, hey, there are things I can do and steps I can take that don't have to be so extreme, that will put me in a better place, right? Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we have a lot more that we can talk about, discuss
all day. All night long. I mean, sometimes we just get together and bounce ideas off of each other, and that's all we do for an hour. So
or later, like,
we have too much fun. So, but thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It's been really cool hearing your story from, you know, kind of start to present day. I don't think I've had the pleasure of hearing it all the way through yet, so thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to share it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look forward to our next session.
For sure. Yay. Thank you.
Yeah. That was so much fun. That mosquito was killing me, though.